What? Iron Man 3 is already a hit? Shocking! I would have never thought it could be a hit before it opens in the U.S. Wow! May the 4th be with you on Comic Book Day. It's better if you say it like yogurt from Spaceballs. That and your words and your pictures, all on this installment of Slice.
Covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe. SliceofSciFi.com.
Hey, greetings everyone to another Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael Armenengay. And whoever else wants to go.
I'm next. I'm Sam Roberts.
I'm Ben Raggington.
I'm Noah Richmond.
Oh.
I'm Keith Lane.
I'm just Megan. I'm just going to go down the line. I did not have these in the right order at all. Sorry.
That's all right. Hey, not a problem. Hey, Sam's back.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm so happy to be here.
Welcome
I missed
back.
you guys.
We missed you.
I know.
Although your voice messages were awesome.
Yeah? I had such a good time.
That's what you can do with that.
With the Facebook app.
Yeah,
right?
the Facebook
That app is
or not Facebook
bitchin'.
app.
That's not what I'm saying. The sci-fi,
Sci-fi app.
Slice
It
of
works.
Sci-Fi.
Slice of
iPhone app.
Sci-Fi app.
Yeah, what the hell
Yeah.
are we
Right.
talking about?
Yeah,
The refrigerator app.
the refrigerator app. Yeah, that's. I mean, it was awesome to be able to get the stuff. You are our first real roving reporter for Slice of Sci-Fi.
Our international correspondent.
I feel
International
special.
correspondent.
Yeah. And now there's pressure. I have to travel again. Gosh darn.
Actually, I think there's more pressure on our fans outside of the country to send us.
They have to-
That's it.
Yes.
That's
they
what
have to
I'm
live
saying.
up to those standards you've just set now.
I have expectations, people. Do
That's
not
what I
let me
was saying.
down.
So, you were supposed to be back last week, actually,
Yeah.
but you had the crud.
The crud. I got the crud on my trip. Like my last 5 days in Europe was like
Ugh, foreign crud.
Yeah, foreign crud. And it lasted for like 3.5 weeks.
Oh my gosh, did you bring that foreign crud back with you?
I may be spreading it
Pandemic.
around. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm dangerous.
Well, what was really bummer about that was I actually worked really hard while you were gone because you set the challenge before you left that we hadn't done anything for a while. You know, the little bits and the little funny things.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
You threw that challenge
I
down?
do.
Well, I actually picked it up while you were gone.
I'm excited, Mike.
And-
Wow me.
And I did run this without any fanfare on Wednesday's show.
Run
Yeah.
it again.
But
Yeah.
we're gonna give it to because you haven't seen it yet.
Run it
Okay.
again.
Okay.
This is all for you.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Slice of Sci-Fi is always on the cutting edge of geek culture and nerd interactions with normal society. With this in mind, we would like to share with you some extraordinary findings that we have uncovered. As illustrated here, this is normal society, represented by a circle. This is a well-rounded individual, goes to work, has a family, interacts normally with society. And of course, on the opposite end of this spectrum is the geek. Not always in touch with society, represented here by a square. He is fanciful, a dreamer, games, role plays, does things that normal society deems as unusual. Using the illustrations, you can see clearly that the geek does not fit into the round hole of society. In fact, in many cases, it is impossible to fit a square peg in a round hole. Inversely, though, what we have found is that the round peg fits into the square hole of geek society very well. This is an interesting finding, in that regular society is not accepting of the geek. The geek is incredibly accepting of all kinds of cultures. Illustrated here, you will see that a triangle peg fits inside of a square hole very well. However, it does not fit inside of the round hole, representing again the limitations of normal society. Continuing on, you will see that geek society, the square hole, accepts many things. A star-shaped peg fits inside of a square hole very nicely. An octagon-shaped peg fits inside of a square hole very nicely as well. And you know what looks like an octagon? The Millennium Falcon. It fits inside of the square hole just fine. Kittens playing with string fit inside of the square hole. In fact, kittens love boxes. It looks like a box. So a kitten playing with string inside of a box is just normal. Whack-a-mole fits inside of a square hole just fine. In fact, it's round holes inside of a square box inside of a square hole. It's genius. Tang fits inside of a square hole, as does the Apollo space capsule. And you know what's in the Apollo space capsule? Astronauts drinking Tang. Cthulhu fits inside of a square... Well, okay, Cthulhu doesn't fit inside of a square hole, but he's an interdimensional being. He's an elder god. He doesn't care about some stupid square hole. It's Cthulhu. He'll make it work. It's a square hole. No. Anyway, you get our point. The illustrations are clear. We here at Slice of Sci-Fi say, be a square. Because everything just fits. Put Cthulhu in some stupid square hole.
SliceofSciFi.com.
So there you go.
It's a square hole! I love it.
You can't pick up Cthulhu in a square hole. Oh, that's genius.
Cthulhu in a square hole.
Nobody puts Cthulhu in a square.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. That's all there is to it.
Don't make me sing the theme because you know we can't pay for it.
Oh, anyway. Hey, we got some news. We should probably do some of that too.
Yeah. So the big news this weekend is the U.S. debut of Iron Man 3. And while Hollywood forecasters are predicting a huge weekend for Tony Stark and company, Marvel and Disney are already rolling around in their giant piles of money from the rest of the world. They're Scrooge McDucking it, doing the backstroke in the bank vault.
Surfing the money bin.
Yes.
I love that. Absolutely.
Scrooge McDucking it. I love that.
Yeah, we've created a new verb. So Iron Man was released around much of the rest of the world last weekend, taking in $198.4 million.
That's a lot for a day.
Yeah, that's more moolah than the Avengers grabbed during the same period last year.
Yeah, that really surprised me.
Right?
Yeah.
So does it mean Avengers is going to be even bigger, or is Iron Man just that? I don't know. So you may want to enjoy this third installment while you can, though, because as of we've last heard, Robert Downey Jr. has not signed on for future movies, and he's hinted that he may want to retire from the role of Tony Stark.
Wow.
Yeah. And Goop herself, Gwyneth Paltrow, has also said that she doesn't believe there will be a fourth standalone Iron Man movie.
Well, 3 movies is a lot.
I know, but then there's the beep, beep, beeping sound you hear. Beep, 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 beep. Do you know what that is? That is the sound of the big truck full of money backing up to Robert Downey Jr.'s house because somebody's going to pay him to make a new one. That's our prediction.
I think you're right. Or at least go back to Avengers, or at least something.
He has to be in Avengers, but the standalone is what he said no to. He has not said no to Avengers. So I think they'll pay him because, I mean, there were going to be no more Transformers until, the money truck happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why are we on Transformers 4 again?
Oh, my goodness.
Why?
Right.
Yeah.
But, if they can reboot Bond, why not Iron Man?
I'd be okay with it, but that's a hard act to follow.
Yep.
But until then, our own Ben Raggington saw the movie already, and he has this awesome spoiler-free review.
All I gotta say is that it was very enjoyable. It's a dark film, and not because of these. No,
it's because it's not sunglasses that he's wearing.
These not
kids. Those are important things that he has on.
These are collector edition 3D glasses that we got for.
And this is my seething jealousy. Seething. I want them so bad.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm not.
I know you're not.
No, not really.
You don't know
That's my pair anyway, so.
My pair sitting at home.
And you don't know what he went through to get those.
Whatever it was worth it.
I don't know.
But anyway, the movie was very interesting. What I love is that this was not a rehash. They could have easily just done another Iron Man 2 type story, and they didn't. They went deeper. They went darker. I wouldn't say they went grittier, but they certainly went darker in spirit and in tone. And it just made for a very enjoyable film. But that's not to say that it's a very depressing film, because there are some really, really great laughs. The action is incredibly top-notch. And what I found to be interesting is something that I saw Joss Whedon, he was interviewed after he saw Iron Man 3. And after that, he said, I'm in trouble. because I don't know how I'm going to top that now.
Right.
Yeah,
But
right.
one thing there was a big talk about no more Iron Man. Well, possibly no more Iron Man standalones. That is a possibility. But at the very end of the movie, there was just this little tiny crawl across the screen that says, Tony Stark will return as Iron Man.
in Avengers.
Didn't say Avengers.
It just said,
but it's
as.
implied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say.
It's very much implied.
Was
Yeah.
there
or,
was
or
there
whatever the next thing is. I mean,
Right.
they may.
Well, they're getting. Well, we know there is an Avengers 2.
There's
and
a Thor.
Yeah.
There's another Thor.
We know. Okay, we know that there's a Thor. We know there's another Captain America, and we know that there's going to be another Avengers.
Yes.
We do know that, and then of course that's all part of Phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Was there a little tidbit after the credits? Did you stay and
We stayed
check?
all the way to the end. Now there had been no news reports. Now this is not for what everybody will be experiencing. This was only the sneak preview that Keith and I saw.
Okay.
When we saw it Tuesday night, they were supposed to have 2 post-credit
Right.
little Easter eggs. We only got 1.
Oh.
Right, and that's actually not
Okay.
uncommon.
Not entirely surprising.
That's
they may have
not
done
uncommon
that
for a sneak. For a sneak, they don't normally give you
All of it.
everything.
And I will say that the one that there was supposed to be 2. One was supposed to be laying the groundwork for Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the second one, which is supposed to come at the very, 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 very end of the movie, is something a little more lighthearted, as Tony's in New York City looking for the help of somebody, and that one we got.
It was fun.
And it made the entire audience squee with delight.
So it was kind of like the one at the end of the Avengers.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the shawarma.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shawarma.
With the
Yeah.
shawarma.
With the
I love
shawarma, except I would say that this
one is better.
was
Better than
funnier.
shawarma?
Yeah, this was much funnier, and I'm not going to give it away what it was, but I will say, Sam, you will love it.
that means Benedict Cumberbatch is in it, right?
I'm not saying, but I will say that it was a very enjoyable film, and I look forward to actually seeing it again.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
Yep. It was a good film.
Well, I tell you that before we dive into all the listener feedback and all your comments and voicemail and everything else, I did want to throw a con report out really quickly because it's happening today. If you got the show on Friday when we released it on the 3rd, so it's if not, you run down to the con. It's
Stop
happening
what you're
this
doing.
week. Stop what you're doing
After
and
you
run
listen to
down.
the con report
Yeah.
and just go.
There you go.
Now, it doesn't matter where you live. Go now.
There you go.
This week's con report is brought to you by Geek Nation Tours. Find out more at geeknationtours.com.
Hey Slicers, this is Red Shirt from Iowa with a con report. DemiCon, the Des Moines Area Science Fiction Convention, is going to happen May 3rd through the 5th in Des Moines, Iowa. And our guest of honor is going to be David Weber. I'm a big fan of David Weber, and I'm looking forward to this convention. And I hope a lot of y'all can come as well. And
Hey, Slicers, it's TJ and PA. Please come in and get another look at my 51 Ford. So here she is. She's called Velma because sometimes it's a mystery how this thing even runs, but sounds all right. That's pretty much it from the Geek Garage today. She doesn't have the fender skirts on because I had to replace the drums the other day. But yeah. Sometimes you do a little bit more than watch sci-fi. If you look carefully, I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 of these in the backgrounds of Back to the Future, but I haven't gotten her up to 88 miles an hour before, so I couldn't tell you what it does. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Keep slicing. Keep slicing.
Very cool.
Nice.
That was just for me. I love
so
that.
pretty.
That was a pretty car.
That's a very nice car.
Did a nice job on that.
That's giving the
I like
Batmobile a run for its money.
I'm not a big flat black fan, but with the red accents on it,
It actually kinda
really
works.
works with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, very nice. Thanks for sharing, Guy.
Hello, Slice of Sci-Fi Water Cooler Show.
Okay, well that starts us off. There you go.
Hey guys, Rapid Eye here. I want to give you guys some attaboys. I'm not sure who it is who's been booking your interviews pretty much all year long, but you guys really stepped up your game. You get some great
stuff lately, yes.
In your interview, and it's been a lot of fun. I don't know if it's Summer, I don't know if it's
it's Summer.
or if it's
not
Hickerson,
me.
whoever it is. Thanks a ton. Really enjoying the shows. I tell you what, that gal from Grimm that you guys had on last
Claire
week.
Coffee.
Oh, Claire.
Oh man, I think I'm in love.
Yeah.
I
think all of us are.
I heard, Ben's heart flutter a little bit. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, she kind of
She
won all of
just
our hearts.
delighted me to no end. She was so charming and cute.
Truly.
Hey, Slicer, Sean Edwards, and you guys had to bring up Defying Gravity again, didn't you?
Yeah.
I so
know.
loved that show, and so because you brought it up, I had to go online and I found a place I could stream it through alternate means.
I have
and watched it again. God dang, that was a good show.
It really was
smart and it was well written, and it makes me so mad that we didn't get the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, then I had to read the synopsis of how the rest of the series would have progressed. And,
Doesn't it just
man,
make
it would have
you
been
sick?
so
Truly.
good. It would have dealt with so many cool things. And I just see this whole thing going on right now with Kickstarter, and I'm like, why can't somebody Kickstarter that?
I think it's been thrown around a couple times, but the problem is that the people who done it have moved on.
Yeah.
All the actors have moved on. So even if they did, nobody's really there to do it. All the sets have been struck, everything.
And the other problem is that, the big successful one is Veronica Mars. Veronica Mars, even though it wasn't huge enough to keep going a bunch of seasons, it still has a much bigger fan base than Defying Gravity ever did. And it's certainly more successful on DVD. It's found a lot of fans even after. And I don't think Defying Gravity is just that widespread at all. So probably, even if you were okay with it having a different cast and new sets, if you could just see the story unfold, I don't think it would get the support.
Well, the problem is that it didn't even get a full season run.
Yeah.
They didn't even air the last several episodes. I think they did air them. It was like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning somewhere. Some stupid time that they just ran them just to get them out. And so most people haven't even seen all of the episodes.
I know.
It was available. They were going to put it on DVD, but decided not to do it because there was so little interest in it.
So sad.
And it's
So
just
sad.
sad. It really is. It's just really, really sad because it was actually somewhat successful in Canada. It was better there, but over here, it just fell flat.
Well, they
and
should
it's
do a
so
Kickstarter
sad.
to put it on DVD then.
Well, even that would be better than nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Did it not even go on DVD in Canada?
I do believe it is on DVD in
Canadian,
if it's there, then you
Canadian
can
fans,
get it.
let us know.
If it's in Canada, you can get it because we're the same region as they are.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
true.
Let us know.
Hey Splicers, this is Trampus, back from the First Robotics World Championship in St. Louis.
I know.
Nice.
Hey, if you want to know what First Robotics is all about, it's a robotics program for high school age kids, and it's also, in the broad spectrum of things, gets to some of the younger kids as well with other programs. But my son's in this, and so his team got to go to the World Championship. To give you an idea of what these robots are doing that they're building, they have 2 alliances, each a red alliance and a blue alliance. Each alliance is composed of 3 teams, so they have to learn how to work together, and I like that. They're robots. They had the challenge this year of having to pick up frisbees and shoot them into a goal, and they had to climb a pyramid-shaped tower.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive how much they go through. There's certain parameters that they set up on there. Sorry, Trampus, your voicemail died after that, by the way. I didn't just cut you off. But it's if you don't know this, it's one of the better things out there for getting kids involved in science and getting them excited about it. The other is the regional egg drop. There are several different egg drops out there where you actually have to structurally build something out of balsa wood. You drop it off a building, and whoever's egg survives, or what can you construct in order to make the egg survive? And it's really well thought out of the box kind of thinking projects like this that are going to get kids excited about science again and get us where we need to.
Wasn't there like a robotic exhibit like that in front of the Prescott
it was. I thought they said
Sci-Fi
that it was
Fest?
like next year's. They weren't for this year, but it was for next year. It was shooting basketballs or something. I think.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Their little robot was pretty cool. They already had it working.
Very cool.
Hey, it's Slicer Sean from Edwards, and seeing the story about the Mars One expedition.
Oh yeah.
God, that thing looks epic in scale, and truly, it is the game changer for the future of spaceflight. I've seen some people who have kind of been ragging on it, and they just don't seem to realize the importance of setting up a colony like that. I mean, I know that I myself personally, were my situation different, I would be jumping all over that. But I got 5 boys to raise, and somehow I don't think my wife would be too keen on us packing up and moving to Mars with them, especially with Owen being disabled. So I wish whoever does it luck. I will be watching that keenly, and that's enough to make me even consider getting cable again to watch that. Or just subscribing to it online if they're going to have something like that.
Just 24-hour webcam.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
Well, it would be. It'd have to be.
Really wish them the best of luck with that project and all the private space ventures that are going on right now, really.
Yeah, there's
because
a lot
really,
of
that's
them.
where the future of it's going to be.
It's the private space sector is just really exploding right now. I mean, we're so close to seeing some major changes and things happening here. So, we'll talk about it more here.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me do this next one, and then we'll talk.
Good evening, it's Lazar here from Essex. Just had to phone in, if you can call it that, on the app. Just saw the video for Mars One, and first couple minutes I watched it, I thought, wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But then really thinking about it, these people are going to go up there, live the rest of their lives up there on a barren world with what? They can't walk about, there's no atmosphere. How can they live? What life are they going to have? But not only that, you're talking about private funding. Private funding?
That
the way
is
the world
scary.
is going, we're all broke. What happens if one of these private funding companies, the bloke pops off or something, and his missus or his kid says, well, no thank you, I'm not interested in that, I want to buy a couple of Cadillacs instead.
Well, there's 2 pieces of this that I really have done some serious looking at and thinking about since last week when we aired this story. And the biggest one is that obviously once they're established up there, they do have some potential of being isolated. It's very possible that there won't be the funding, there won't be the support in order to keep them going. But at the same time, I can't imagine that we would just leave them there to die. So I mean, somebody will step up if the funding doesn't happen. Somebody will step up and keep this going. And it is an ongoing, growing community. This is not a one-off where you're sending 2 people there and they're just going to be roaming around kicking rocks on Mars. They're establishing a presence. They're establishing a colony on Mars. And that everything that goes with it, which is setting up infrastructure, setting up possibility for future trips, for return access. There's going to be at some point you're going to need 2-way transportation. Once that is in place, what resources, what can they mine, what can they create, can they get off of Mars and send back to Earth that actually could start commerce? Once commerce starts, then 7-Eleven will be there, and there'll be strip malls, and the whole thing will explode.
Yeah, there'll be a Starbucks
in no
on
time.
Mars.
Absolutely.
I would love to know what the first convenience store on the Mars is.
That's the thing, is that there's no atmosphere there, but the thing is at least there's enough pressure that you could survive there to some extent, as long as you're oxygenated. You'd have to acclimate to it tremendously because it's much less than what's here.
So what are they going to do for water, though?
There's water on Mars. They've already found it. They know it's there. So they're pretty sure that if they dig enough into the permafrost that you should be able to get water out. If you can get water out, then you've got oxygen, you've got subset, you've got rocket fuel, you've got all the things that you need in order to keep yourself sustained, at least to some extent, without completely being tethered to Earth.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's fascinating. The science behind it is sound. It's solid. It's just getting the first steps there and actually somebody who's willing to make that commitment.
I saw an article that 25,000 people have already ponied up the money and submitted applications. I don't know what the application fee was, but because I looked all over.
That's a heavy pioneering spirit right there.
It really is.
A lot of people with vision, and that is what's going to make this mission work.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. So fascinating stuff. I know we didn't get to a lot of comments here. But let's see if we can get through a few more here before we have to go.
Hey, this is Chuck, just throwing in my 2 cents regarding Defiance.
Oh, yeah?
I'd say it's a good show, folks. I'm sorry, I give it the 3 tries. The first episode with the giant explosion, and somehow the explosion only kills the bad guys, and everybody else just kind of rolls out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd let that go. Number 2, where you're underground, and there's an underground city that's that big. Really, the Earth is folding over and protecting the entire city. Can't really buy into that.
Well, there's a reason.
Family drama, the tension between the teenagers seems very forced. And for all of you that were giving Twilight a bad time, sorry, their romance is definitely Twilight.
Okay.
And
I'll
then
give
the
you that.
conflict between the all-white people and the miners, can't buy into that. Also seems forced. And they haven't earned the characters yet. There's no character development.
I'm saying it's the
writing.
writing.
And then finally, this monster in the last one, that was just the hokiest, most laughable special effect I've ever seen.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
It's
SciFi did a much better job in special effects. Or even the monsters in X-Files or any other TV show that we've seen.
You're talking way different budget.
Yeah.
This show
X-Files
is a poor
way different
knockoff
budget.
of Babylon 5 at best. And it's off my season pass.
I love Babylon 5, but it had its super cheesy moments too.
Oh,
of course, and I am actually not trying to defend Defiance because I'm pretty underwhelmed by it. But I also think of Farscape. When I first watched it, I was like, Muppets? Oh,
Same thing.
So cheesy, and I loved it. So I am going to give it a couple more to see.
Yeah,
but I don't disagree with your writing quibbles because those I have problems with. I don't feel like the characters are really great or that the world is particularly.
I'm with you. Yeah, there's some things that I don't really care about inside of it, but at the same time, there's enough that I like that I'm still watching it. Primarily the sheriff and the daughter. I mean,
I'm much more interested in those two than anything else.
Everybody are the best, and I think as we move forward, I think that that is going to start fleshing itself out.
I hope so.
We'll start fleshing out these storylines that really don't interest us, and we'll start fixating more on the stuff that does. And I'm hoping it's going to start writing better and getting better.
That's a big problem.
Most shows take a little bit of time in order to get their identity. I mean,
Right.
even though they had this entire series already bought and pretty much produced, a lot of times they think, okay, the series is going to have this kind of tone, it's going to take this kind of shape. And as they start filming them and as they start putting them together, they start looking, the showrunners will look at the screen and say, okay, that's not working. Look great on paper, not so much on screen. However, this thing does work.
This does work.
Let's change our emphasis.
How many shows wowed us right out of the gate, right? And then fall off later, like a Lost. But how many shows have we had to warm up to, like a Fringe? That,
Right,
You know,
exactly.
so I'm still going to give it a try, but I'm more into Hemlock Grove and Orphan Black.
Let's go through some more more feedback. Let's save this for a actual dedicated show.
Yeah,
I
good
think
idea.
there's enough stuff going on SciFi right now that we could actually dedicate an entire episode to nothing but what's going on SciFi.
That's a good idea.
So let's do that. Look for that later this week, folks. We're gonna actually sit down and do that.
Hey, Slice. It's Lovecraft here. I was listening to your podcasts while traveling through the Midwest on the highways. Keeps me sane. Thank you all so very much for providing me with decent radio. But, I was listening to your deal about the Bond movies and the Bond themes. And in listening to that, I went back and I've been watching some of the older Bond films with my father recently. And we got to the Pierce Brosnan years. And I couldn't agree more about Die Another Day. We watched it last night. And when the theme song kicked in, and I'm an audio engineer of 30 years, when the theme song kicked in, I thought that the sound system on my dad's TV set had suddenly broken.
Yes!
It's
yes!
god-awful.
I know.
It is.
I had that reaction first time I heard
how
it.
could they have done that?
It's like, what the hell is that?
But anyway, thank you guys for prompting me to go back through all the Bond films. I'm kind of getting my dad ready for the Daniel Craig years here.
My favorites.
Yes.
My favorites.
But thank you very much again for all of your quality broadcast, and please keep up the good work. I'll be back in touch with you again sometime. Lovecraft out.
Thank
awesome. You know, it's so funny. We started that whole Bond theme thing, and then Epix decided to run all the Bond movies.
Awesome.
So they have been running those all last month. They were running Bond films, and I got caught up on some that I had not seen for a long time. So it wasn't all of them, but I mean, it was some of the more obscure ones, the ones that usually don't get played.
Yeah. So you saw George Lazenby then?
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey Slicers, this is Kurt in Calgary, and just a con report from the Calgary Expo. We had Peter Dinklage with his first con ever. We just had the cast from The Walking Dead, and of course Will Wheaton made the entire audience cry with his "Why Being a Geek is Awesome." Greetings from Calgary, and keep on slicing.
Very cool. Boy,
nice. Sounds awesome.
Wicked
Lots
awesome
of
hat
con
you got
reports.
there, yeah.
Cool.
And that Will Wheaton thing is all over the internet,
it's so
all
gone
over
viral.
Facebook. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go find it.
Absolutely. Okay, one more, and we're gonna call her good here.
Just to break it up, good morning, Slicers. Danny the Blind Geek. Okay, I'll fess up. I was throwing troll bait. I know exactly why it's like that and exactly why it's like that so much in the States.
There's like 3 videos.
It's the proliferation of super god cults like Christianity. But anyway, now that I've outed myself and have a whole bunch of rabid Christians chasing me with guns, I think it's time to go. But I do love the show.
Okay,
awesome,
wow.
Denny, thank
Very
you.
cool, thanks. So I guess we got a bunch of stuff that we got to get through here really quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff and a lot of elements that I got to play. And what's the first one we want to do?
I guess let's do the comic book
Comic
day
book
thing.
day.
Yeah.
So, am I supposed to do that? Because I'm the comic book
Yes,
person?
that is you.
Is that me?
You're supposed to be doing the comic book thing.
So, okay, if you're a fan of comic books, then you obviously will go to it's comicbookday.com.
Well, of course.
I got the bug up. I'm so happy.
Yay!
But also, this goes out on Friday. So tomorrow, if you are listening to this on Friday, is Free Comic Book Day. First Saturday in May, always Free Comic Book Day. I don't have the story in front of me, so I want to kick it to somebody who does have it. I know some of the comic books that are coming out on Free Comic Book Day.
I can take it. Are you ready?
Well,
Yeah.
George,
Absolutely,
George has
go for it.
We have a video from George.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, do we want to do that
about a
one
couple of them.
first?
Yeah.
Let George tell the story.
Yeah, let him tell us.
Hey Slicers, this is George over at Hypno Comics here in Ventura, California with a quick reminder that this Saturday, May 4th, is Free Comic Book Day all over the country at participating retailers. So drop by your local comic book shop, get some free goodies. I'm sure a lot of us are going to have creators like we will here, and some of us will have exclusive variants like these Adventure Time babies, huh? So these are the Phantom variants. Participating retailers all across the country are going to have these. So drop by your local comic book store this Saturday for free comic books.
Very cool.
Slicers, this is George.
All right, so we have some news that you'll be able to pick up a special Grimm spin-off comic. Oh, yeah.
Really?
New DC look at the Cartoon Network's DC Nation lineup of Beware the Batman and Teenage Titans Go!
Wow.
You can get Old School with Prince Valiant or my favorite Buck Rogers, or get a preview of the new animated series Hulk and the Agents of Smash!
That's the one I like.
Wow.
That's the one I like.
Yes. Now I gotta go.
There you go.
Yeah, oh, it's going to be awesome, especially
Absolutely.
here.
Hulk and the Agents of Deconstruction.
Smash! I'm just gonna keep saying it.
That is awesomeness.
We can't forget that it's also Star Wars Day. May the 4th
May the 4th be with you.
Yes, may the 4th be with you.
That's right. Oh, wow.
30th anniversary of the release of Return of the Jedi.
Too much stuff going on this month.
What a weekend.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? We need to really... Let's just go ahead and do a Suspicious Observer, too, while we're at it.
Good morning, folks. This is a new NASA release. Using space debris here to set up a story they're hoping we won't be upset took them about a year to tell us about. Fermi, one of the top gamma detectors we have, almost had a collision with a defunct Soviet spy sat in April of 2012. Article accompanying the video is linked below. A mass fish die-off in an otherwise pristine lake in Sullivan County, Pennsylvania has residents a little shocked. Fast-moving storms dropped a flash flood on Miami yesterday, and way worse flooding has caused sewer failure in Timmins, Ontario. Obviously, the top weather story is Cyclone Zane. Doesn't look as gnarly as yesterday, but winds are still pushing 70 miles per hour, and the precipitation will be severe. Speaking of severe, this is a close-up of warm, moist southern air slamming into colder, drier air from the north. This happens as powerful lows cross the USA, and this convergence line will have the severe watch zones as it moves eastward tonight. Looking at solar flares, we got a C9 this morning, so the increasing power continues, but it's taking its sweet old time to get back to M range. We'll take a moment to watch these flashes in 94 angstroms from the SDO. This picks up flares as well as any filter. Switching to a combination of 1600 and 1700 angstroms. This gets us through the corona and down to the electrical interactions within this active region. Taking a look at the sunspots, the C9 came from the departing spot down south. Yes, please mate on an M flare before you go. The northern spot is still long and extended and has about 4 places where magnetics can interact, but so far she has chosen not to do so. Our beasts entering the party on the southeast are popping in the C range, but have so much more potential. Coming back 3 days ago to check out that north-central dark coronal hole, although the umbral field didn't allow its magnetism to interact with Earth, its solar wind stream certainly flowed strong, and we are taking the leading edge of it this morning as density, speed, and temperature are all on the rise. Fluxgate shows a shot to the magnetic field with a strong baseline induction building. KP, not at a storm yet, but at 3 and trending up. Plasma is penetrating the shield into the ionosphere. The auroral electrojet doing its July 4th impression just since midnight my time. And even without a magnetic storm, we have energetic flux. Hold that thought. Most interesting quake of the past day was way south of New Zealand, near Antarctica. That's on the rare side. Now when it comes to larger quakes, you might remember that 6 days ago was our last 6-pointer. None since then. This is below even average quaking. You will remember the blue umbral field popped open during that last 6-pointer, but then closed up immediately. I called to watch for another opening when Saturn opposed the Sun, but I was wrong. The field stayed closed, and we got no big quakes. Still keeping that energetic flux in mind, we can tilt here and zoom in to reveal the Earth about 6 hours away from the geocentric opposition of Mars and Saturn. And even if that lower left field here gets all up in the central vertical column's grill, I see separation between them. The minor watch to end April was a failure, and without the umbral opening, my impatient self should never have called it, but I should now. Not a minor watch, but a major one. Not for one little 6-pointer, but a significant uptick as the umbral field is opening with the coronal hole on that opening, planets lining up, and energetic flux. Keep your eyes open. No fear, it's 6:40 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
Oh my God, I am so understanding that more
every
single week.
Is it seeping into your brain?
It really is.
I'm beginning to get that, but so am I clear? Is he actually saying that sometimes the umbral openings is actually related to earthquakes happening?
That is what he is saying.
So it sounds like it's a cause and effect kind of thing. The umbral opens, and then you get the possibility of earthquake.
Yeah.
Which is completely revolutionary in thinking.
Yeah, no, it's amazing stuff.
Freaking me out.
I watched his for today, which is Thursday, and he talked about the M flare that happened. He said it happened right as he was doing the one we were watching there.
Wow. We are so way over time here, so we have got to go. But yeah, fascinating stuff. Tune in again next week for more news and trivia, folks. And of course, next Friday, We'll have another of the Suspicious Observer.
And go to a comic book store tomorrow. Smash!